Hi, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of our Career Gist. Career Gist is us talking about our life here in Germany, how we can improve ourselves, how we can get motivated to take ourselves the next step and to improve in whatever areas that we're doing. And today we have this lovely madam here, Madam Ihoma. She will be telling us more about the comparative advantages of learning German. We know these German languages. It does us like, it's a foreign language. So we're trying our best to speak, to learn it, to speak it. So she's going to break down these details for us in a very easy way. And she's going to tell us how and what we can do about this. So Inhoman is a German language tutor, but I'm going to allow her to do the talking. So Norma, you have the floor. Take over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nilo. Um, okay, before I share my screen, let me introduce myself. I guess the ladies know me, much of the ladies. My name is Ihelma.
Who's your face?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm shouting here.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like I said, my name is Ihioma Obasi. I'm a Nigerian living here in Germany, a mom of three. I studied accounting in Nigeria and worked a while before coming over here to Germany to join my husband. I met him in Nigeria, and the rest is stories I don't want to bore you with. Um, so when I came to Germany, um, I had difficulties adjusting to the German life. Yeah, but finally I was able to adjust, and I took a while to learn the language and then did my master's degree here in Germany. And currently, I work as an intercultural trainer. So, intercultural and diversity management trainer. I work for a company that is called VisoArc in Bremen. We train um, public servants. What do I call public servants? Yes, Beamta. We train Beanta in topics of intercultural diversity management and anti-discrimination. So that is where I work at the moment.
Okay. So would you want to give us a presentation or you want to just keep talking? Like the people that you train, in what areas? Is it in the German language or in how to blend into
Um,
the German life? What
no,
area?
I train Germans actually. I did my master's degree in Dutch. Okay, so I
Wow.
work in 100% German environment, and the people I train are people that work in job center, people that work in police, people that work in social arms, all official offices you can talk of in Bremen. Our office, I inclusive, train them on intercultural and diversity topics. So what do I mean by that? We train them to be culture conscious. We train them to be intercultural competent. We train them to be diversity conscious, anti-discrimination, sensible, so that they understand what are all these things, what do I look out for, how do I adjust to the person sitting over me, how do I try to understand the person that is coming from a different character, a different culture, what are the culture exhibitions that this person can actually have, what how do I remove unconscious bias from my mind, all these stereotyping, all these cliches, how do I remove them from my head when I'm trying to attend to a customer, and giving in view that the German system or the people living in Germany now are so mixed. There is a lot of immigrants living in Germany. There is a lot of people who are no longer Germans. So the German is becoming bunter, and because of that, there is a lot of cliches, there's a lot of stereotypes that are imbued in people's head. So our job is to make them understand this stereotype band across cultures. So it's
Mm,
not only about the black people, it's about all immigrants. It's
mm,
about how the Africans react, how the Arabs react, how the Asians react. Also, these are different reactions. We try to make it a broad band that people coming outside Germany react differently.
mm,
And you judge, you don't, your job is not to judge them. Your job is to remove all these cliches, all you have heard, all you think, all you have read from your head, and attend to the person as a human being. Because at the end of the day, Germany becoming more colorful means also that the workforce should also be more colorful. And
mhm,
who employ this workforce? Government, a greater percentage, are the employer of this workforce. So it's our duty to make them understand they are human beings first before anything you heard. So that is my job. And I
mm.
work in 100% German environment. I don't speak English where I work. So my are all in
Wow.
German.
Like when I let me just like when I came to Germany, like and then I went to the immigration office. In my head, I was thinking, okay, it's immigration office, so they will speak English. They gave me the shock of my life. They told me the most Deutsch learning.
That is the problem we
Pick
have.
up.
That is the
So you
problem we
go
have.
there, you get confused. You're like, but I just came. They say yes, egal.
Okay.
So how are you going to encourage these ladies that are coming in and get kind of slap from
So,
here? You know?
so I will share my presentation in a short while. But please, if you have a question, throw it in at any point in time. Please make me. I don't think I'm seeing them. I would love to react to any question that comes up. I will share my presentation. I divided it into three. Um, Me and Dutch course, how I started, then what are the advantages of learning German, and how can you learn this German. So these are the three major points I want to work with. But before I go into that, I want you to understand one thing. It is your duty to learn German in Germany. It is only empathy that a German speaks English with you. It is not a right. Get it clear. The same way when you are in your home country, the same way a Spanish man, woman, his duty is to speak Spanish. If he dare speaks with you under English, or speaks with you with English or in Francosis, is a plus. It is called empathy. It's not a right, it's not a privilege.
Mm.
So don't get it twisted. If you're in Germany, it's your job to learn German.
You've heard it though. Okay. So would you like to share your screen now? So
So I'll do
they-
that now. Please, I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. I'm coughing here, but thank God we are in the screen, so nobody will catch my cold.
we are protected.
You're protected, so you're not going to catch my cold. So like I said, we're gisting today. This is our agenda. Ihoma as a German teacher. How did I start? Although I don't really like using the word teacher, I will tell you why today. Then we'll go into what is integration and the relevance of the German language. Why is it important for you to learn the German language? And why is German language a difficult language to learn? And how can you learn it? So I'll start first of all by talking about Ihioma as a teacher. So how did I misstep and land here as a language teacher? Um when I came, like I said, I didn't speak any words German. I had so difficulty learning the German language. And I was also a slow learner. So A1 and A2 went quite fast. And I was like, ooh, I've understood it until I jammed B1. Oh my God. I didn't pass B1 the first time I wrote it. That was the first time in my life I have failed an exam. It was a shocker. I could not believe it. I cried for more than 4 days. I saw myself as what we call in German a Versager. I failed completely. I couldn't even, I couldn't. It took me 3 days to tell my husband that I didn't pass that exam because I was like, Ihoma fail exam. How can, where, how did it happen? But also, what did it taught me one thing. It taught me that learning this language is a daily process. There was no shortcut to it. Why am I saying this thing? When I started learning, I like every other way I learned in Nigeria. When I pick a course, I try to look for the fastest way to understand this course, summarize it, assimilate it, write exam and pass it. But it's different from the language. This language confronts you as long as you're going to live in Germany. Maybe as long as your life, if you're living in Germany, you're going to be confronted by this language every day. So there is no shortcut to it. You just have to learn it like a baby step. So you learn German like a baby learning how to walk. Who knows he or she is going to walk for the rest of their life. So they don't just jump down from the bed and start walking. They go through the process. So learn the German through the process. That was when I didn't pass B1. I decided to go back to the root and learn it through the process. I started speaking gradually with a lot of mistakes, but I was confident in the speaking and I was taking the grammatics. Then I passed B1. I came to B2. I failed it again. Sorry, I have a strong cough.
Don't worry, we are all protected here
Yeah.
from
So
Muhammad's cough.
so I didn't pass B2. So it was for me, it was a gradual process. Then I did C1. I decided to go to university and I switched from C1 to DSH. That is the Dutch for Toegang for Hochschule. DSH, Dutch for Hochschule Toegang or something about that. So I switched over to DSH and passed it and got admission to study my master's degree, management consulting, and it was in German. And I felt I have arrived. After all, I have learned to DSR. But I was the only foreigner in the midst of Germans in my class. And all my courses every semester, they are all in German. So I was faced with what every other person doing Osbidon is faced with. Everyone doing Osbidon in this country do it in the German language. So that same experience you had, I had it. It was so difficult to understand the lecturers. They were so fast. I was not grabbing. I felt lost. And I kept learning the language. I kept asking for help. I keep raising my hand. I did not understand. I started dubbing the classes so that I can listen to them at home again because they were all, it was floating. But by the time I've done the first semester with a lot of questions, my first semester results were not so good. First semester with a lot of questions, my confidence started coming back. I had classmates who were good. They helped me explain. They also help do my work corrections when I have to write my term papers and my odd things in German. They are obliged to help do the correction. And I was also learning it myself. By the time I have graduated, I was a lot better, a lot better. I was speaking more fluent in the German language. I had more confidence because I studied this German language. After 4 semesters, I did five. After 5 semesters, I was more confident. And I was also active as a amtlich, what we call volunteer work. So when I came out, when I graduated, that gap between graduation and not getting a job, because I was active in the air Amtlich process in my start, Oldenburg, where I live, um, I got this offer. My Our coordinator told me there is a teaching course available. It's called orientation course for A1 for immigrants who are just coming in. You have gone through this process. I think you can help them and you speak well. Why not take up this teaching job? Teach them this language the way you learned it. They will understand it better than when a German who has not traveled out, who just did DAF, that is Dutch as Fremdsprache, as a teacher who has the certificate. You're going to do better there. I said, okay, why not? The pay was good. And I've not gotten the job in the area I was still going to. I was afraid, I must be honest with you. But I took up the challenge. And my first day in the class, I had 13 women from 11 different countries. I had no English speaking. The closest I had in my class was one Egypt woman that can actually make a little sentence in the English language. Every other person had this language. I had China, I had Chechen, I had Bulgaria, I had Poland, I had a big group of Iraq and Iran, and it was a mixed class. And that was my first challenge, to use hand and foot and demonstration until we were able to understand ourselves. And that was how my career in the language started. By the time I have stayed 3 weeks, I also the school sent me to training. I must say that before I started the job, I had an intensive 4 weeks training on didactics and pedagogics, that is how to teach a particular language. Okay, so I didn't just jump into the class, I had a training. So by the time the more I go, the more confidence I have, and the feedbacks were positive. I was actually bringing this language to these women the way they will understand it. And my class was booming because we had two A1 classes. There was a German girl who was still in university and me. My class had a more positive feedback. So they took her A1B class and combined it to my own and moved her to B1. They now said, okay, I should prepare these ladies, and when they've passed A1, they can now join her in B2 since she is a German. So we wrote the first exam. After 6 months, 11 registered, and I had a pass of 7 ladies past A1. And for me, that was the breakthrough. That was when I knew I could do this job. I started paying for TELC courses. Up to now, I am still learning. I'm doing a program with Goethe Institute, which I am paying for myself. So I am still learning this language. So I prefer to address myself as a tutor, not as a teacher, because I don't have the shine, but I I know the onions. I know how it works. So that was how I came to become a German tutor in Germany here.
So inspiring. It's not even easy. When I was learning this dear Didas, I'm telling you, some days I don't even sleep. I'm like, what is all this? Why is it that other languages are so easier to learn? I know my own, even my native language is not so easy in my country to learn. But when
Yeah.
I came here, I'm like, oh my God. And then you're here telling us you're teaching Chinese people, Egyptians. Wow. Please, if you're here and you're still struggling with the language, we have people who are capable and who can put you through. You might fail once in a while, but it doesn't mean that you bring yourself down. Please, Nne, take over.
So that was how I jammed the German language, and that was how I started my online tutor classes in the Corona time. And people who I have taught online can give you a good feedback that I did a good job. So So some of the pictures you're seeing here are pictures when I had my online classes. I suffered a little setback this year because I had some personal problems that happened to me, and I decided to take a breath and rest myself. Hopefully by January, I'm going to start off a class again. I major mainly on A1 and A2, beginners class. Okay, so I major mainly on A1. Maybe with time, I'm going to bring in B1 and B2, but now I major mainly on getting the basis correct, getting the foundation correct. So if you're looking forward to maybe wanting to have a German tutor online from January, chat me up and let's see how it goes. So that being said, let's look at the importance of German language here. So, like I said, integration in Germany, we always hear integration, integration, integration. Integration in Germany is not only when you get the German passport or when you get your unbefristed, you're integrated. It is part of the process, but it is not only the process. Integration in Germany actually means that you have arrived in Germany and you have established yourself in whatever it is you want to do. You want to learn, you're actually learning, or you have finished the process of learning and you have gotten your job. Then you have integrated. Do you want to do business? You have actually established that business, registered it, and you're doing this business according to the laws. You have finally integrated. Do you want to work? You have finally actually getting all your certificates accredited. These are all the process, and you have gotten the job. Then you're finally integrated. Every other papers, the unbefristed, the German passport, all these things are just sauce on top, or do I call it smoothing that makes all this paper process a lot easier. But it's not the main aim. Because I hear there are people who, when they come into the Germany, they make that little effort. And once they get this paper, their job is done and they relax. Yeah, but you relax, and after 10 years you have this paper, you're still where you are, and you now start questioning, what has German passport done for me? What have you done for the German passport? And how can this integration process be smooth? It can only be smooth through the language. Language is the key to integration. Language is not the integration. German passport is not the integration. Unbefristed is not the integration. The actual integration is your doing that which you want to do, working, learning, doing your business, arriving, speaking this language, mixing up very well. That is the actual integration in Germany. Um, I want to ask an honest question. How many of us speak more than one language outside German? How many of our children are learning foreign languages in school? If we
It's
speak
on.
more than one, am I having questions?
No, no. When you mean foreign languages, are you talking about other languages apart from their native language, or
Um, no,
their native
when I
language?
say how many of you speak more than one language outside German, I mean there are some countries that have three, four languages.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There are some countries that have more than three, four languages, and there are some people that actually speak all of them.
Yeah. Gotcha.
In the German school, every child learns a foreign language. My kids are doing French and Spanish plus English added to the German. Why are they doing those things? They are doing it because when they get older, or when they are able to leave the country, they might have an idea. They may not be perfect, but they have a basics when they get to those country. That is the till. Why are you now, if the till is for your child to do a little Franzosisch, Spanish, so that when they get to Spain, they can actually understand what they are saying, and when they go to France, they understand what they are saying. Why are you now shutting yourself out from the German language? Why are you now sitting home and saying, why don't the Germans speak English? They should be speaking English. My dear, why are you not speaking German? So I know the language is difficult. Please stop making excuses for not speaking the language. After all, they are taught English in the school. Their problem, your own problem, is to please learn the language. I mean, this language gives you independence. Your secret is with you, my dear. It's not every letter that you will get, somebody will know what is inside it. Everything about you is shared by somebody. Tomorrow again, you will hear, nye, 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 she took my secret and she told this person. If you know the language, every rubbish job center told you is with you. Any form you have to fill is your problem. Any loan you want to take, nobody should know about it. Your affairs remains your private affairs. Your secret remains your private secret. You do the hell what you want to do inside your house. The same way you have the Schlüssel, the keys to your Wohnung, is the same ways you have the keys to your affair if you have this language. You can actually wake up tomorrow and want to travel. You fill your forms yourself. You buy your ticket yourself. Nobody needs to know, how do I do this thing? You have an appointment tomorrow by where, in the office, job center, social armed, even by police. Or you even did something and you need a lawyer. You don't need somebody to go and interpret for you, and the person will know every secret you wanted to talk with your lawyer, because the person needed to interpret the thing to you. Even when the person is not there, when the thing happened. Even all the small secret that we share with the lawyer, that the lawyer will know, so that they know how to defend us. Another person will now hear it and will now be judging you. And we are human beings. And it is our job to judge. So nobody should say, I don't to judge. That is why the word secret exists, so that sometimes some things is kept to yourself. And when you are not ready to share these informations because you are afraid your secret will get out, you shut yourself out of the world. You will not do those things, and you will remain in that corner. Everything in Germany, they call it Schriftweg. Everything written, everything official in Germany is written in the German language, and it's their language. So it's your duty to learn the language so that you can do those things for yourself privately. So let's look at the general. You have access to good jobs. Even in the private, you can defend yourself. Every day in the forum, I hear somebody attacked me. Hi, if not for this language, I could have finished the person. My dear, go and learn this language so that by this time next year, you will finish that person, because it's important. It's important that you know this language. You can defend yourself in the train. You can defend yourself when somebody talks to you the way you don't want. You can defend yourself. You can ask the right questions on the spot without looking for who interpret to you. When somebody mishandles your kid in the kindergarten, when anything happens to yourself in the school, when you stand up to a teacher and speak a German language and complain to them, and they know you have this language in your hands, nobody will treat your child anyhow. It's very, very important. If you're going to stay in Germany, for your sake, for your children's sake, the German language is as important as breeding. When we go to the general, have access to job because, like I said, integration is a two-way traffic. You are willing to learn, to read, and to work. The government will bring the enabling environment. What are these enabling environments? They'll bring the finance, they will bring the kita. If you have an hospital plus, they will make available kita plus for you. The Yugun time to make available. I'm not saying it happens automatically. Sometimes when you're living in, depending on the city you're living, some cities are faster than the others, but they would make an attempt to bring betrayal for you. They will look for kindergarten, they will make sure you get kindergarten plus. Kindergarten plus plat is shared according to, they'll first of all share those who are working and have hospital. If a space is remaining, they will now give it at home mothers. So when you have an hospital or you're working, the probability that you get a kindergarten plus is higher than when you are a sit-at-home mom without a job, because all those things are filled in the forms when you are filling forms for kindergarten and kita plus. So to make sure your child is being taken care of so that you can also take care of yourself. Okay? Your children will have better opportunities at school. How do I mean? You people know in the German school system, in the German school system, children are placed in the school based on how coupled their parents are. So if you're not working, you don't have beruf, your husband does not have, the probability that your child will go to gymnasium is thin, except if your child is so hot, very, very, very intelligent. Once your child is somewhere around the middle, they will send him to Hauptschule. Sometimes even Realschule is good, to Hauptschule. Why? They will tell you the parents cannot help in the house of God because they believe you don't have this language power. So children from working class individuals who know, especially immigrants, we suffer this a lot. Immigrants who have this language power, they are working, good hospital, working, and their kids are going to school. They are going to be a little listened to when they say, when you go and say, you posted my child to Hauptschule, my child can survive in the gymnasium, and they will look at you and they'll say, they will look at how you spoke the language and you're really working. They will say, okay, we'll give this child a chance in the gymnasium. The parents that can help unterstützt the kind. But when these things fail you, your kind is going to be tossed around. It's going to affect the hospital they're going to give them. They will say, nah, he or she cannot do this. Because at the end of the day, when he or she has house of assignment, who is going to help at home? As they are bevetting your kin, they are also bevetting, as they are assessing your kin, they're also assessing you. So your place affects your children. They keep relegating them because they believe you can't speak for them, you can't help them do the assignment. So they are 100% based on the government. And when somebody is 100% based on the government is government everywhere. Forget about the German government is better than where we're coming from. But at the end of the day, they're all government.
Yeah. We have a question in the chat, and somebody's asking, is there any trick to learn the various articles in nominative, accusative, and dative?
I will let me round up a little. I'll come to that. I will come to that
Questions.
Dutch as a language. Then I will answer this question, please.
Perfect. Okay.
Then you also have access to education. You can do any hospital you want. You can study. Studying in Germany is as cheap as when you compare to other countries around. You can actually study here. You have the incentives. You get BAföG, and you study and you come out, and no matter how immigrants are marginalized, at the end of the day, you're going to get a good job. You're not you're not going to remain where you are. So it needs hard work, hard work, hard work. You have to bring something to this table. And my dear, you're not the table. In this case, you're not the table. You've got to bring something to this table. You've got to bring your willingness, your strength, your ability, and to learn and integrate. And the government will provide you with the enabling environment. I cannot stop talking about it. Stop hiding in your room, in your houses, picking information on the street and generalizing it. Germany has opportunities. Step out, go for Beraton, go and ask questions. Stop running away from job center. It is actually their duty. Do this experiment. Let me blot out one thing here. Make this experiment. Go to job center before they look for you and tell them that you want to do something. Come back and tell me how it happened. What happened? Look for them. Go and tell them that you want to do something. Some Beratas can be very stupid. I agree. But look for them. Go and tell them you want to do something. Without them waiting for the letter for them to ask you what do you want to do to come. And compare these two sides. There are opportunities in Germany. Please make use of them so that in the next 10, 15 years, you will have a motivational story to tell your children. You will have something to motivate them, to tell them, when I came to this country, I couldn't speak this language. But look at, you can do it. If your mother who came from a foreign country can, why not you? If you keep sitting at home and keep making excuses, when your kids grow, may God forbid, and they take the part of excuse, you don't have anything to counter their excuses. Think about it. Very, very important. German language. Dutch is as important in Germany as breathing and drinking water. I cannot overemphasize on it. So let's look at the German itself as a language. You know, we have talked about Germany. Why is this language difficult?
Me too, I want to know.
There are more languages. There are languages that are more difficult than German. So the German language. Some language like I think Poland. Poland has about 7 articles. Correct me if I think Poland, yeah, about 7 articles. They have the singular, they have the double, and they have the plural. So the German have the singular and the plural. Okay. Something like, I think it's Polish or Bulgaria, I don't know. Poland has the singular, the double, and the plural. And then they have the they, the das. We in English, we have only 2 articles. A and an.
Somebody said because of the dear didas.
Yeah, I don't think I need the script here. So Poland have this they, the, das times 7. So we are looking at 21 differences. I think Germany, we are looking at 16 differences. Yeah. There, the, das. Accusative, dative, nominative, genitive. 1, 2, 3, 4 times there, the, das plus singular and plural. We're looking at 16. Matrix 16, 4 by 4. So I'm a mathematics person, so I can always deviate front and back.
Wow. This one is dy dx.
Exactly. So why is the German difficult? Coming from English, and I can only speak of English because that is where I have my experience from. I don't know French. Coming from English, we just like the Germans, we are not taught grammatics. Just like the Germans. I mean, just like my kids who learned the words and opposite, present and past tense. The same way we can speak um I came, I'm coming, without actually understanding what does it mean. Okay? It's the same way the Germans will now say ich komme, ich bin gekommen, without actually knowing what is in where. So when you as an adult is now trying to learn this foreign language, we are confronted with kindergarten grammatics, the didas. So we try to learn this language. We try to know the how without. I hope people can still hear me. Hello? I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay. So we learn the how without learning the why. And the onions of this language is in the why. Why should I say ich bin gekommen? What does it mean? Why should I say ich kam instead of ich bin gekommen? They are just the same thing. What changed? Ich komme. Aber du kommst. Why is it changing by do? We don't really ask the do, the why. We learn more of the how. And the how is a work of cram work. It's a work of bulk learning. And it always fails because in languages, it's like driving an autobahn every day. Once there is a Baustelle on that autobahn and there is a diversion, you have a crisis. Because you did not learn that there can be a Baustelle on this road. You have always known this road. It is this way. That is the problem we have with German. We start with nominative, we're so confident in it, and we can actually speak it, and there is a diversion. Dative comes in. We did not understand what was nominative. How does nominative function? If you do not understand how, why? What is this nominative? Why is it called nominative? You cannot place dative on top of it. Once there is dative, the crisis starts. So let me go back to how I started learning this language when I failed B1. Remember when I told you people that I had the shocker of my life when I did not pass B1? I went back to the grammatics because I knew I was having problem. I was not speaking because I had fears and problems getting my grammatics correct. And the major onions, the major deal, the major bulk of the German grammatics is in the der, die, das, nominative, dative, accusative of adjective. So I say it, take it again. The der, die, das, nominative, dative, accusative, genitive of adjective. Eine schöne Frau, der junge Mann, das blaue Auto. Our head will start popping like popcorn. What is happening to me?
I swear. That's just it.
Once the day you break this thing, you're on the ride. I went back to the drawing board. I told myself, I said, Ihioma, why did you fail this exam? I failed it because I didn't know what was what. I went back to learn what everything in a sentence means. So when I say I went to the market, I can tell you I is a person. Went is the past tense of a word, verb. Went is a verb. To is a preposition. Market is an object. I started learning to pieces sentences. What is what in a sentence? But before you get there, I start by what helped me was I learned the German grammatics together with the English grammatics. I went back to the drawing board. I started learning the English grammatics as if I was in primary 4, 5. So when I pick the word now, I ask, what is a noun? What is the characteristics of a noun? The noun is the name of a person, place, thing, blah blah blah. I go and look for it in German. Do they mean the same thing? Yes. And actually, the English grammatic and the German grammatic are quite close. They differ in some little places, but they are quite close. So if now is the name of a person, this and that, I'll go to the German. Nomen is the same thing. Beschreibt ein Person, Ort, Sachen, this and that. It's the same thing. What is the characteristics of this noun? The characteristics of this noun is in German, it is written in capital letter. And it has singular and plural. I said, okay, so now has singular and plural. Verb does not have singular and plural. Ooh, correct. What is a verb? Verb is an action word. You go to Germany, Germany will tell you verb is a two-word. Two-word. It means every action is a verb. Dancing, laughing, springing, thinking, smiling, douching, laughing, they are all verb. And it is actually verb that I can do conjugation. Are you seeing how I am bringing these pieces together? I can do conjugation in verb. Ich komme, du kommst. What is conjugation? Conjugation is breaking down the personal pronouns down into singular personal and plural personal. Ich, me, du, you, wir, we, us, and so forth. Him, he, she, it. So if I do conjugation, I do it with verb. Ich komme, du kommst, wir kommen. I cannot do conjugation in now. So that is how I learned to. It was a rigorous process, but I took it up. I wanted to know who works with who. What determines what? Maybe somebody told me when I was telling this story, somebody told me it's because I wanted to be professor of German. I didn't want to be professor of German. I just wanted to understand this language that was beating me up. The zeal to understand that instead of hiding away from it. That was my method. Develop your own method. What works for you? I just told you what worked for me. So ask yourself, what works for you? Another thing I did was I changed the classes. If this particular school is always giving you headache, maybe change the school. Maybe change your teacher. Maybe the new teacher will have a better method. But not getting it right is not an excuse to stop. Change the method of learning and change the method of understanding. So somebody asked, is there a trick to learn the various articles in nominative? My dear, there is no trick in German. German language does not have trick.
But why now?
But I can nominative. I only have two ways to explain nominative. I tell people nominative works with one verb. Sein. You know this verb. There is only one verb that is a nominative verb. Sein.
That Zion, is it
Ich
them?
bin, du bist, wir sind, ihr seid. The name of this verb is sein. That is the only nominative verb. Ich bin, Iheoma is a nominative word. The ish there is the subject.
To be.
It is the nominative. The bin is the verb. All other verbs outside sein is to a large extent 80% accusative, the remaining 20% dative. Ich kaufe einen Tasche. Ich is the subject, that is the nominative. Kaufe is a verb. The object is the accusative object. So there is nothing like a nominative sentence or an accusative sentence. Rather, there is a nominative in a sentence, there is an accusative in that sentence. So you need to know what is the nominative, what is the accusative, and what is the verb. So when I say the nominative is the subject, the accusative is an object. There is also an dative object that functions some other way. I don't want to take you that far. So there is a nominative in a sentence, that is the subject, and the object makes the accusative in the sentence. So ich kaufe ein Auto. Ich subject, kaufe verb, ein dative, that is an accusative of das Auto. Ein Auto, das Auto, ein Auto. Ich kaufe ein Auto. Ich kaufe einen Computer. Der Computer, einen Computer, den Computer. That is an accusative object, the computer. I guess have I answered your question? Who asked this question? Have I confused you more?
You have confused us more because you have said that there is no trick in learning the German.
There is
Because
no trick in learning the language.
she asked, is there a trick to learn the various articles? But at
There
least you have explained,
There is no
how we
trick.
can pick them.
There is no trick in learning the language. Please stop looking for shortcuts.
Why? We are used to shortcuts. What do you want us to do?
Shortcut
We have
is
to
going
find a way to
disappoint
sort our
you.
problems.
Shortcut is going to disappoint you in the German language. It doesn't work. It doesn't. Shortcut doesn't work.
Somebody say yes, you have been able to confuse us.
I
She has
thought
seriously confused us with the language. But
I thought that's it.
she has made it clear that there is no other way. So long as you have come into Germany, you must learn this language. If somebody is speaking English to you, they're just doing you a favor. Empathy, according to Homer's words. Empathy.
It's
They are
empathy.
not obliged to speak English to you.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way. I just have some questions now because you were really talking about speaking this language. So how do we build this confidence, especially when we are speaking and we know we are saying rubbish? How do we build that
Keep
confidence to
speaking.
still say it?
Keep speaking.
Yeah.
The only way, the one thing that helps you to be fluent in the German language is to speak, interact, and when I mean speak it. Speak that rubbish German. speak it.
Mm.
Listen to German radios, not the television with untertitle. Just listen to the German radio. This one that you're going to hear when you're not seeing anything. The pictures, the films. I lay more emphasis on the radio because the films distract you. When you listen to radios, you get it more than when you look at the films. Watch films, watch talk shows, especially comedy talk shows. Comedy talk shows are more basic. They don't normally use some of the political talk shows. They will just go hook touch, but comedy talk shows are on the ground. Um, Speak, my dear, when you go to order food, even if you're studying in English. I told somebody this thing yesterday. Even if you're studying with English language, once you step out of that classroom, you want to ask for your direction, speak it in German. You want to order food, you go to the market, you need something, speak that German that came into your head, even if it is rubbish, speak it.
Mm.
You cannot learn to be fluent without speaking. One day your rubbish German will become a better one.
Mm. Makes sense.
And be open to corrections, right? Don't lock up when you're corrected. Laugh at your mistakes. In German, they'll tell you to be locker. Listen, oh, this language is not your own. And there are people who are so intelligent, but this language have shown them shaggy. This language is difficult. So stop paddling up. Stop locking up when you make one mistake. There are sometimes I will speak one sentence to the end, and people I'm speaking to will be like, you don't even know how difficult it is now that I'm working with hook dodge.
Mm.
Before I start, I will tell them that this language is not my mistake. Pick my message, stop picking my mistake. Stop looking at the grammatical error because, oh my God, there are still many of them. But at the end of the day, did we understand ourselves? Yeah. Don't stop learning. I am still learning German. Gotek Institute online. As I am talking to you, I still have classes running. Don't stop learning.
I even learnt my own German from children because when I was studying, my course of study was in English, pure English. So after classes and everything, I do my student job there was teaching kindergarten children.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak my nonsense German, the way I know how to speak it,
They'll
these
correct you.
children with so much confidence will tell you nine, that is
They'll
fine.
correct you. They don't have respect.
They will tell you straight to your face. So because they are children, you would laugh about it, but they will. It's
But
easier
when,
to
when,
learn
when
from
an
them.
adult tells you the same thing, you get
You get
offended. Why?
angry.
Why?
Maybe it's pride. I don't know. But that is how
Why are
I
you
learned
why are you
my
having pride
German.
in a language that's not your own? It is like me now going to
You
jump
know
into physics class.
that, but it is the fact. What you have said is completely right. Speak the language the way it comes to your head, and you have the opportunity to learn when they correct you, so long
And
as they
when you
understand
tell
what you are
yourself,
saying.
I'm going Einkaufen today and I'm going to speak it in German, my dear, you sit down and think that thing you're going to speak through.
Mm.
But whenever you have your backup as English, you would not put extra effort.
Mhm.
If you know that you're going to go to Hamburg tomorrow and you're not so sure of how Hamburg banner functions, you will go online today and start looking for how to ask direction. Is it not true?
Yes, of course, of course.
And you learn it and you
Yeah.
go to Hamburg and it functions and you have it in your head. You're not going to transfer it to my own. You've learnt it. When you know
Someone
you're
in
going
the
to kindergarten to speak the German language again, what do? You go and prepare and you've
yeah.
learnt it. But once you always have your backup, oh, they should know how to speak English now. I will order online. I will not go out. If the teacher talks, me, I'm not going to answer him. Oh. I'll allow my husband to take care of it. Till when? My dear, till when?
And that's that independence that you're talking about. When you learn it, you can confidently stand and protect your children, protect
Nobody can do
yourself.
guy for you. Nobody can. I mean, you own yourself. You own your dignity. You own your respect.
I've
Look,
not
I get motivated from people who have achieved it. I don't shy away. And when I say achievement, I mean in every facet of life. I got motivated that when I saw a black woman who was pushing two in one pram, I'm like, if she can actually have two babies and push the two of them together, why can't I? I got motivated when I saw my black sister speaking fluently in German. I said, oh boy, Ihoma, you're going to get here. I got motivated when I met my German friend who did her master's here in Germany. I get I got motivated. I said she was able to do her master's here in Germany. Ihoma, you're going to get there. That is how I get motivated. I I pack this positive energy. When I see people achieve, I get this positive energy to do it. I get this positive energy to strive to be better. So stop hiding away. You have stayed 10 years, you did not learn the language. You were busy doing some other things. There is no wasted time. The time becomes wasted when you shy away, when you hide and say, I cannot learn this language. You go and hide. You're hiding, and the time is running. After 15 years, when you come out from your hiding, you will see that your 10 years has stopped 5 years on top. It has become 15. You go back and hide again. After 20 years, you say Germany did not do anything for me. What am I doing with German passport?
Yeah. To summarize this, because we don't want it to be too long and too boring. To summarize this, please, Inyoma, correct me if I'm wrong. Inyoma mentioned the comparative advantages that you can grab from learning this language is
Yeah.
number one, your independence and
Right.
keeping your private matter to yourself. So if you get any letter from your doctor that has to do with your health or whatever, or you want to get a loan or anything, you can actually translate these things by yourself without sharing with so many people and getting angry that your friend knows your secret and they're sharing your secret. She has, Ihoma even mentioned it, we are human beings. Even if we don't say it, we would look at you with that eye that we have read from the paper. Either the paper is from job center or is from any aunt.
Or
So
even
that
loan.
independence,
I will be like, oh my God, oh,
you
this
know,
man is living on credit. Oh. Who doesn't do that?
who's not living on credit in Germany?
We all
You
do
see,
that.
there are so many appliances that you will buy. It's not, you don't pay full money because you don't have the full money. So it's one thing that you have that independence, and then it's another that you have that confidence to protect your children. There was something very important that you mentioned, Ihoma. You said that the teachers are actually classifying the children based on the capabilities and capacities of their parents.
Those that have kids in Germany here, if they're in this group, they can bear me witness.
Yeah,
Kids
because
are
I
viewed
have my
according
friend.
to
She's very
yeah.
good with German, and every time she tells me this happens in the kindergarten, I'm like, you know what to do. You need to confront them because if you keep quiet, it will repeat itself. That is one thing I've noticed here in Germany. If you don't correct the mistake or the nonsense that day, it will repeat itself again. You know.
If you're not confident, if you don't go to the school and say, look, this child it's true that she has two in mathematics, but she is fit to go to gymnasium. I'm here to help her with her assignment. If you're not that confident to go to their school and tell them my child can make it in the gymnasium, your child will end up in the Hauptschule because they believe you as an immigrant, you don't have the language power to help your child at home. So it is about this child not being a burden to them in gymnasium. Is he going to get the real help when he's no longer functioning in the gymnasium? Is he or she going to get the real help? And NACIFA is not counted because it is an extra money they don't know whether you have. So it is about your personal capability. And if you cannot devise that, based on your academic that is where you're working on your language capability. There's this woman in Hamburg that is in this group. They didn't post her child to gymnasium, and she carried
She carried a
like
placard, yes, and we
yes,
support
and her
her,
child got
yes.
to the. Do you think she could do that if she's not
If she's
strong?
not grounded in
If
German,
she's not grounded in German, she couldn't have done that.
you're right.
And her child got into where she wanted. That is the power of the language.
You're right. So you must learn the language to be able to support yourself and your children and your family. That's one. You must also learn the language so that you can get a good job. You know, whether it's Ausbildung, whatever field it is, Germany is willing to give you that enabling ground to do it.
There are some
We
people
have
that will tell you
nurses
there are
here, we have
international
doctors,
companies.
we have engineers, we have
There are
IT
some people to
personnel,
tell
even
you
in this group.
they have international jobs. Yes. But that international company is looking for bilingual. So when they
Yeah,
have a German who speaks English, they go for him.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you're offering only your English, you're only
You're limiting
you're not only
yourself.
one, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah,
Maybe you add German to it, and the more languages you add, the more doors you open.
this is very true. And doesn't mean that you should forget teaching your children your local language, because this is also, it comes up with identity issues at the end of the day. They think they are Germans. Whereas when the time comes for them to get into the job market, they're told you're not German. So you need to make them understand that yes, you grew up here or you were born here, but you still need your own language. You still need to be open to learn other languages to open more doors for yourself. You
Correct.
know, we are very versatile human beings. We have the ability to learn if we want to, if we are willing to.
You're
So at
right.
the end of the game, it depends on you. Even there are ladies I've seen who are asking about how they can start up a business or what business they can do. You need the German language to be able to go to these different offices. You need to allow yourself attend conferences. There are so many important information that are being shared in all these areas, but we are only limiting ourselves because we think we're not good enough. You have to put yourself out there. Someone is
We are
asking,
afraid. Afraid. Fear.
okay,
Fear.
I want to read some of the chats so that
Okay.
what Ihoma said about school is true. After our interview, when we came to Germany, they recommended Realschule for them. I refused and insisted on Gymnasium and Gesamtschule based on their individual capabilities. I stood my ground because my kids had good results from Spain.
Yeah.
This is what we are saying,
Exactly.
you know. And someone here wrote, I love that positive energy and self motivation.
Thank
It's
you.
very important.
Yeah.
You know, most of us think we can't do this. It doesn't matter what your background is. Some of us are actually graduates from our schools back home, and then you come here and allow the language to pull you down. We shouldn't be letting that happen. If you learn the language, you can get into any field you want to go into. The only thing is that there are opportunities in the IT field, especially those who want to go into data management or all this one. They can take it in English. But if you have German as your language, as your
And
backup,
added advantage,
you have more advantage. They will listen to you first before
because
they give
even
somebody that's only
because
English.
after speaking with your computer, the people you're working with are Germans. The people you go to break with are Germans. The people in your team are Germans. The people you are in the office with, the people you're going to do conflict resolution with are the
Resolution.
Germans.
Most
The
of
people you're
most
going
of
to
our
expose
clients too are
to
also
are
Germans.
Germans.
They'll
So
tell you they are dark speaking Dutch speaking people. So they want to speak German. So if you're
yeah,
giving Beratung to people in the dark region, you have to speak German.
exactly.
So even in the hospitals, you get these conflicts. Those of us who are nurses or doctors or who are in different fields, we have a lot of well-placed people,
Yeah,
even in our group. So do not bring yourself down or think that you cannot do it. You can do anything that you put your mind to.
exactly.
So, Nhoma, please, do you have your last statement so that we can call it a day or a weekend? Anyone?
At my last language will be you can do it. Believe me, you can do it, and don't allow fear. your failure is when you are down and you refuse to stand. I mentioned it here. I failed 2 stages of the German language, but I'm teaching this language after 4 years of failing this course. I didn't allow that failure to determine me. I caught up and rose above it. So please, German as an adult, they call it Erwachsener-Bildung. You learning German as an adult is difficult, coupled with other responsibilities around you. Stop being afraid of failing it. Rather, when you fail, stand up and continue. Second and most important point, find the method that works for you. It is important to discover the method that works for you. If you need any help or you want to join my class that will be starting around January, or you need any help, you must not join my class. Generally, concerning this German language, I will always give you a listening ear. You can always make an appointment and I can explain to you how you can groom yourself to learn this language.
Thank you so much, Nhoma, for your time. I'm really, really grateful that you could even spare the time, even the fact that you still have cough, but you're still looking pretty even with the cough. Someone says, if you are new and can't speak German yet, please write emails to your children's schools, to the job center, any office you are dealing with, you will get a reply. Yes, write in English, they will respond to you.
Yes, they will.
But have German too. It doesn't matter that you don't need to speak it perfectly. Just be able to express yourself. That is the major
Even
thing.
if you have if you have an appointment at job center with a brother that doesn't speak English, please indicate immediately that you can't speak this language. They will organize a translator. It is their job. They have what they call Übersetzer tool and pool. They have translator pool where they can pull somebody that will come and translate for you. So give them upfront. Don't go there. If you can't speak German and you have an appointment, tell your operator immediately, I can't speak this language. They will organize a translator so that whatever it is you want to go and do there would be effective.
Thank you very much, Ihoma.
You're welcome.
So we have come to the end of today's career gist. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the next 14 days, we'll be having other participants. We're also encouraging those of us who are in different fields, whether you're a nurse, whether you're an engineer, doctor, a tearing, berata, social worker, egal was du magst. You're welcome to come online, tell us how we can break through in this German system together. It's not difficult. If you want to start a business, you can. I'm a business consultant. There are easy ways to start a business, but you must follow the rules. And you need to learn German to read most of these letters, to know which offices to go to know where and what to do right. We need those who are in, if you're HR managers or you work in the HR department, please come up and tell us how we can, format our CVs. CV is not just the whole thing. Yourself as a person is the main package, because you can present a nice written CV and you're not able to back it up with your confidence. Confidence is this clothes that you wear. Nobody can take it away from you, So we need all of us from different areas and different walks of life. You can reach out to me and tell me, and then we fix a date for you and you can come up online. Thank you so much, Ihoma, for giving us your time. And thank you all that took part in this conversation. It was really, really interactive. I'm really grateful that we made the time. So I'll see you all in the next 14 days. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye.